Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Maheshkariya. You're watching me on YouTube now, and in this today's session, I'm gonna take you through how to integrate GraphQL inside your .NET Core application or .NET application. Without wasting any time, let's deep dive into it. So I'm gonna use a .NET 6 version, and I'm gonna use a library which is Chocolate, and we are gonna use MS SQL for the backend. We are gonna use EntityFrameworkCore. So without wasting any time, we can start now, and I'm gonna create a new folder on my desktop. I'm gonna name it let's say .NET underscore GraphQL. So yeah, this is it. Simply drag your folder on the top of your VS Code. Let me resize this thing quickly. Command plus J to open your terminal, or Control plus backtick you can use. And after that, I'm gonna use a .NET CLI. Before that, let me show you my version that I'm using right now, which is .NET 6. Okay, so after that, I'm gonna use a .NET new command in order to create web API, and of course we are going to use a minimal API, which is nowadays everyone is using. Lots of folks are like using it for creating microservices, and yeah, this is it I guess. And you can see here we have got the boilerplate, and with this program.cs we can remove lots of things like let me use remove this swashbuckle quickly. Let me remove this swagger. We don't need swagger because we are using GraphQL, so there is no more rest endpoints. So let me remove this thing. We don't need to use this weather forecast, so let me remove this map. Instead of we'll use GraphQL map. Okay, and this HTTPS redirection as well. So there's just a 3-4 lines of code that we need for now. Okay, the builder is needed, and what else we need in applications.json? We are gonna use connection strings. Okay, so connection strings would be my DB connection, and my DB connection would be we'll say we'll add this thing later. So for now, just proceed with another part to like to install MS SQL on your Linux or Mac. You need to you have to have Docker available inside your system. So I already have Docker available. If you don't have it, you can grab it uh, from here. Simply search for Docker, and you will get this Docker desktop link. You just need to click here, and for the further things you can do. Okay, so if you have any package manager, a scoop brew, you can install it directly from there as well. So another thing, I'm going to use Azure SQL Edge instead of MS SQL, because this is very easy to install MS SQL inside your system. So this just you just need to search for Azure SQL Edge in Docker Hub, and you will get this very first line of code, which is command, sorry. And here you just need to paste your command. Okay, and this is it. Here you can set your password. So I'm gonna use the default password, and after that I'm gonna change the name of my container. Okay, so this is my container. So I'm assuming I already have, let me use Azure SQL Edge. So yeah, I'm gonna hit enter. So yeah, this is done. So for the first time it will take time to pull the image, but I already have image, that's why it took around 1 second I guess. So yeah, this is it, and now we can proceed with adding the dependencies that are needed, of course. So for now I'm gonna use a .NET add package which will be Microsoft dot entity framework core. Okay, dot SQL server. Okay, so hyphen version you can use in order to provide a version like 6.0.1. This is the version that I'm gonna use for today. I'm gonna use this version, but it's all your choice. You can use the specific LTS support version, so it's all your choice according to your project as well. See, so I'm gonna use this version, and I'm gonna hit enter. Okay, after that we need to install uh, design. Okay, then we need tools. Okay, so make sure to use same version. Okay, tools, and we also need to install framework core as well. uh, and here we go, and the last one is to install the hot chocolate. Okay, hot chocolate is the dependency that we are going to use to integrate GraphQL. For that, I'm going to use the package which is hot chocolate. Give me one. C choco hot chocolate. Okay, dot asp net core hyphen version, and here I'm gonna use a version 12.6.0. Okay, and yeah, I guess this is it. This is the last thing which is needed, and let's start with creating entities. So for that, I'm gonna create a new folder here, which will be entities slash user.cs, where I'm gonna write my namespace, which will be of course Mahesh, let's say, or .NET GraphQL or whatever it may be. For now, I'm gonna use Mahesh. Dot entities. Okay, and here I'm gonna create a class which will be my public class user, and inside that user I'm gonna create a prop which will be int id. Okay, then another prop would be string. Okay, which will be name. After that, another prop would be string email. Sorry, another prop would be password. So yeah, this is it. This is all we need to know. And after that, we can proceed with the db context. So for that, I'm going to create a data folder. Inside that, I'm going to create a excuse me, user db context .cs. Okay, and inside here I'm going to create a namespace once again, which will be a kind of Mahesh dot data. Okay, and here I'm gonna use sorry, using Mahesh dot entity. Okay, and here we are gonna create a user db context. Okay, so using Microsoft dot entity framework core, of course, then we need to create a class, public class user db context, which will be extended by db context. Okay, and after that we just need to use this thing. So we can use user here or users, it's all your choice. I used to use user here always. Now let's go back to the program.cs file, where I'm gonna write here. I need to use GraphQL, so map GraphQL. Okay, sorry, app dot map GraphQL. Okay, and here we need to add few things like builder dot services. Okay, dot add db context, okay, this thing, and this will be my builder dot. Now we need to integrate Microsoft Entity Framework Core here. Yeah, this is it, so we can use this. Now the default connection string is what we need to create. So for that, application settings, here we can define it. Okay, so I'll say data source. Our data source would be my localhost is equal to localhost, and after that I'll say my database would be test. Okay, then I'm gonna use password is the default password that we have used while creating the container of let me go there. Yeah, this one, Azure SQL Edge. So this is my default password that I'm gonna use. Let me grab this thing quickly. Let me use this thing over here. Okay, so password would be this, and this is it. So let me grab this in development as well, application development. So here as well I'm gonna use the same, and let me save those two files, and let me grab this connection string to here, which is looks okay to me. So now we can proceed with the migrating the things. Okay, so migration part now we are gonna cover. But before migrating something, you just need to build first, so you will get the errors. Okay, so .NET build will help you to check if you are getting any errors or not. So we have a one error that we need to check. So looks easy, I guess. The semicolon was missing over there, and let me try this again. We'll get another error now. So application context. So this application DB context might be in program.cs we have missed. So instead of this, we need to write our DB context name, which is my user DB context. And here I'm gonna write that one. Okay, and that will be a part of using Mahesh dot data. Okay, so yeah, now let me check again. Hopefully not. So we got the zero error and a bunch of warnings, so nullable warnings that we can resolve, I guess. Inside user.cs, inside entities, we can simply write here string dot empty. Okay, so this nullable warnings we are getting there, so here and here. So I guess we won't get the warnings now. So we got one warning, then level user must, it's fine. So we can proceed, I guess, now. So what we need a entity framework tool. Okay, so for that you need to use .NET tool and install -global .NET -ef. Okay, so you need to install this before proceeding to migrate the data, and once you have it, you just need to use .NET ef migrations add initial create. Okay, and hit enter. So it will create a kind of migrations folder that you can see here, that we got. Okay, and the migration files that you can look into. So it will automatically create migration files for you. Now we just need to update the database. So for that, the command is to use .NET ef database update. Okay, and it's going to create tables inside your uh, uh, the database. Okay, of course, MS SQL. So let me clear this thing, and now let me use a .NET watch. So in order to run this thing in kind of like Node-born, if you guys are familiar with Node.js. So this is something that allows you to hot reload every time. Okay, but before that, one more thing we need to create. We are using GraphQL, so we need to create a query mutation, and for that we need to create type. So let me go there quickly, and let me create a folder which will be a types. Inside that will be having two types. One will be a query type dot cs, and the another will be my mutation type dot cs. Okay, so let me tell you guys why we are using it. Inside query, all the data which is related, or all the methods related to fetching the data or to get the data, whatever the methods we are going to write, which will be a part of a query. Okay, and inside mutation we'll write the methods related to creating, updating and delete the data. Whatever the comes under the mutation part will be a part of mutation type, and query which will be related to getting the data, like get by user, get by email, get by name, whatever it may be. So query type we need to define here. So let me start with using few things, like using mahesh.models will sorry, entity. So mahesh.entities we need to use, then we'll be using entity framework core, then we'll be using mahesh.data data. Okay, now we can proceed with the defining namespace, which will be mahesh dot types. Okay, sorry, types. Okay, and let me try this one. So what we are getting here, I don't need that much of thing. Let me use public class query type, and then we can use public async, and in return what we need, task of list of users. Okay, list of user, which will be a get users, and for that I'm gonna use uh let me user. Okay, and I'm gonna name it all users async. Okay, like the way, and here I'm gonna write service. Okay, which will be my user db context, and through that db context we are gonna return the list of users. So yeah, this is it, this is all we need to do. Now let's go back to our program.cs, and inside program.cs we need to configure few things like builder dot services. Okay, uh, add, what we can say, add graphql server add GraphQL Server, and then we'll say add query add query, and this query type. Okay, and this query type will be a part of uh, mahesh dot types. Okay, so like the way we'll use the query, and let me use semicolon over here, so I won't get the data. So we are getting types does not exist, so might be spelling mistake here, typo, and here we go. So web application builder does not exist. So this is also a spelling mistake, I'm assuming. So let me see services. Okay, and why this is asking for password. No worries. Okay, okay, I forgot to remove that SSL certificate. So for that I need to go to launch settings. Okay, and here I need to remove this thing. For now I'm not gonna use this thing. Okay, we'll see to the production mode, and let me watch this thing again, and let me see what. Yeah, and slash, instead of swagger I'll say GraphQL. Okay, and yeah, here we go. So now browse schema. Inside browse schema I just need to cancel this thing, close this up. Okay, and here I'm gonna use all users, and for that all users we can define what we want from that all users, like id in return we want of all users. So we don't have any data, so that's why we are getting the this thing. Okay, now let's come to the mutation part, and we'll add the mutation file over here. So inside mutation as well we'll do the same thing. We need to use few things like mahesh dot entities, then we'll need using mahesh dot data. Okay, now I'm gonna define namespace would be mahesh dot types, and after that we can proceed with public class mutation type. Okay, and inside that mutation type we'll be having public async task user, which will be a create user, where we'll get user db context of course, and the user that we need to pass here. So let's try this out, hopefully it should work. Okay, and let's go back to program.cs, and here let me make it neat and clean, it's not looking good though. And Endpoints is also not needed, I guess. Not sure. I'm gonna remove this thing as well, and here I'm gonna use dot add mutation, and I need to restore this thing. Okay, so now I can pass something. Let's see inside mutation. We have to pass name, email, and password. Okay, so let me add mutation here. Okay, and inside mutation we are gonna refresh the page and we'll write what you want, like create user, and inside that create user in return we'll get the id, but here we need to pass email is equal to mahesh@gmail.com. Then we'll be having name is equal to Mahesh. Then we'll be having password, which should be equal to, it should be encrypted password, but we are not doing this, so it's fine, it's okay. It's more over focused on the GraphQL related stuff. Might we will get some error over here, but we haven't got any. So let's go back to the query, and where we can write all all users. So inside all users we need name of all users. So like the way, so yeah, this is it. The rest of the things is also easy. We are not moving forward to perform CRUD operation, but the rest of the things is easy as well. All you need to do is you need to know the two things, the query part and mutation part, and all the remaining methods you can define here, like I'll say public async, and then you'll say update user. For update user we'll write this for public async task. Let's wait for the delete user. Yeah, like the way, this is the same method that we do, so this is not a big deal to perform rest of the operation. In query also we can add many things, like get by something like public class, uh, no sorry, not here, here public async, let's, yeah, this is user by id, so we just need to pass id and the stuff. So yeah, the code is already available on GitHub. The link is given inside description. So I guess we can stop here. So thank you so much all of you guys for being with me, supporting me all the time. It's been pleasure to be here. Please let me know inside comment box what you want from my side. Definitely I'll make it for you guys. And don't forget to subscribe my channel if you haven't already, and smash that like button. And you can use this thanks button as well in order to like contribute something. So even $1 is enough to grow our channel. It's so thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye bye. And let me stop this thing quickly. Stop record.